Minecraft doesn't have a lot of prehistoric animals. In fact, there are only a couple animals that could even be considered prehistoric. So that's why I've installed a bunch of new mods in my world, adding tons of brand new prehistoric creatures, from small animals that will creep and crawl to giant dinosaurs that roam my world, and even some that strive to attack and destroy me. And to enjoy all of them at the same time, I'm going to create a massive zoo full of tons of custom enclosures. And the first mob I'll be trapping is the woolly mammoth, the giant woolly elephant that went extinct over 10,000 years ago with the end of the last ice age. And if they lived in an ice age, it would make sense for them to spawn in colder biomes. So I'm going to check out the local snowy plains to see if I can find any. Yo, there's one. Whoa, these guys are even cooler in person. Look at that trunk. And those are some serious tusks. Dang. Now, I believe there's some way to ride them. Ow, nope. Okay, he doesn't like that. But I know they like hay bales, so maybe if I feed him some... Ooh, hearts are a good sign. Hey, there we go. Whoa, I'm so high up. The last thing I want to show you before bringing him back to the zoo involves killing a mammoth. But Travis here, he's my friend now, so we gotta find another one. From it, we can get raw mammoth, jumbo bones, and jumbo hide. I'm not entirely sure what they do, but let's get this guy to his enclosure now. And I'm actually thinking ahead and getting some materials before I leave here. But of course, I first need to build up the exoskeleton of the zoo. And this is the island I've chosen to transform into the zoo, so I started by building up all of the walls and the pathway in the center. Now that I have the outline built up, I can transform the very first enclosure, and a snowy environment will fit perfectly. I'll start by replacing all of the grass with snow and add a tree for some light. I'll give him a little friend that can roam around, and now I can bring Trav into his brand new home, and we've successfully trapped the first prehistoric mob. The next mob I want to capture is the Velociraptor, a small feathery dinosaur that is really fast. And to give the Velociraptor plenty of room to run around, I'll transform this long enclosure for it. It's already fairly flat, so I fixed some parts of it and transformed the end into a drinking hole, as I'm sure they're thirsty after running around a bunch. I also added a couple trees for some shade, and now that I'm thinking about it, these guys will probably be pretty hard to catch, because when they existed, they would run up to speeds of 24 miles an hour. And if you remember from my last video, I had trouble catching up to that tuna, so we'll see how these go. Ooh, I think that's one. That is such a cool color. Ooh, and he makes noise? I love that. Oh, nope, he is not friendly. Well, I mean, they are dinosaurs. What did I expect? Thankfully, he's not as fast as I had imagined, and I had him chase me back to the zoo where I outsmarted him and named him Fox, which completed the second prehistoric mob and getting me closer to the mob I'll be trapping at the end of this video, the Tyrannosaurus Rex. This next mob you probably weren't expecting, because it's actually a goat. The lowland goat, or that, was a small mouse-like goat that went extinct around 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. Similar to the goats already in Minecraft, the best place to look for these guys would probably be in the hilly mountain areas, but I'll have to keep my eyes peeled because these fellas are super small. Nope, that's a normal goat, but that's not. This guy is much smaller than the normal goats, and he definitely looks a bit different with the spots of black, almost like a cow. I made sure to get him a friend so that he's not bored in his enclosure, and after leading him back to the zoo, I can figure out how I want to decorate their enclosure. I feel like I want to keep the rocky aspect of the natural habitat, and this enclosure here is just naturally a bit sloped, so it should fit pretty well. I replaced all the grass with some stone, and then added patches of andesite, gravel, coal, and some snow to give it a bit of variation and spice. I also think a little stream of water flowing down the enclosure would be a good fit. I named him Eli and her Ellie, completing the third prehistoric animal. But for this next one, I wanted to branch out a bit, and there's actually a couple mobs that I'll be capturing that live underwater, with the first one being the saber-toothed salmon. The saber-toothed salmon existed around 5 to 11 million years ago, and it was the biggest salmon ever, reaching lengths of almost 10 feet, which is kinda crazy to think about. They could also weigh around 300 to 400 pounds, which is so different to today's salmon. Like the salmon of today, they can be found in rivers and oceans, so I'll have to keep my eyes peeled, and I wonder if they'll be true to their size in Minecraft. Oh, that's definitely it. Look how big he is. Compared to the regular salmon, he is positively massive, and his face is super elongated too. Oh, look at those teeth. He doesn't seem to be hostile, but if I hit him... Oh, never mind, he's not friendly. Well, now I kinda have to kill him, but let's see what he drops. Yeah, this is about what I should have expected. It looks like a pretty cool item though, and I think Minecraft should totally add it, but let me know which mobs you would add to the game. In the meantime, I've got to find another one now. And after locating the second one, I prepped the enclosure. I chose to do this one right here because it's relatively rectangular and kinda resembles a river, and even though it's a little cramped, I hope Max enjoys his new home. Now the next two mobs are pretty famous, and actually they're both the same mob. In the mobs that I installed, there are two different types of Triceratops in my game, so let's capture both of them and see which Triceratops is the better one. Now as I head over to the savanna biome to see if I can't find any there, let's check out some facts about the Triceratops. First off, and most notably, they have a giant head, which can take up over a third of their entire body. And even though they had hundreds of teeth, the Triceratops were actually herbivores, meaning they only ate plants, unlike other dinosaurs like the T-Rex, which would eat other animals and dinosaurs. Ooh, there's one. That's the first Triceratops model, and this one definitely looks super cool. Not to mention he's super big, like look at that leg. I also love the horns and his overall earthy look. He definitely looks accurate to what I would imagine a Triceratops would look like. I used a lead to bring him back to his enclosure, and now I need to prep his enclosure and also his friend's enclosure, which I'll be finding momentarily. Since I found him in the savannah, I want to do something similar, so I grabbed some acacia logs and leaves and attempted to build a handful of trees around the enclosure, and I think I did a decent job. I also gave both of them a small drinking hole, and let's put our first Triceratops in, name him Diego, and now I just need to find the other variant. Whoa, that's definitely the other variant. He looks so different. You can even hear him stomping, and I don't think he likes me very much. Ah, no, don't kill me. Whoa, he just knocked over a tree. What? That's actually so cool. Gotta make sure we don't die though, and now that we've got him in the enclosure, which Triceratops do you like better? This one's definitely a lot more ominous looking, and I'm a big fan of his horn design. I'd probably go with this one, but let me know in the comments what you would choose. Since I just did two huge mobs, it's time to change it up and trap a smaller mob, and I've got just the one. This next mob is actually tameable too, and will be found near an ocean, ideally in a cliffy area, but I'm not too sure that that's necessary. While I'm looking for them, I looked up some facts on this mob, and like the Triceratops, it has a massive head compared to the rest of its body. I wonder if that's just a dinosaur trait. And while this mob has wings, it's not a great flyer, and relies more on climbing. Now, unless you're a dinosaur expert, I highly doubt you would have guessed the mob I'm talking about, which is the Dimorphodon. I think I'm saying that right, although I don't even know, just heard about it yesterday, so don't fact check me. Oh, there's one, and looks like he's got some friends with them too. And look at that, they climb up the tree and then jump off of it to glide, which is accurate to their inability to fly. Also, if I click on them, hearts appear, and now they will follow me wherever I go. This makes transporting them back to their enclosure super easy, and after building up their enclosure, I was able to put them in their new home. Hopefully this is high enough and they don't escape. And similar to Lily and Billy, who are Dimorphodons, there's another dinosaur with a somewhat similar name, the Diabloceratops. This is one of the oldest creatures, living over 81 million years ago, and I definitely want to build something in his enclosure to pay homage to how old they are, but I'm not too sure what I should do. Ooh, I know, I'm gonna build a cake in the corner here and put a ton of candles. I would say one for every year, but if I end up making and placing 81 million candles, I think this video won't come out until the next ice age. And what I would like to happen before the next ice age is hitting 500,000 subscribers, and right now, well, we're pretty far off. So if you want to help the cause and support the hours I spend creating these videos, consider subscribing. It's free and it helps out more than you know. Brown concrete and snow will work well for the cake, and for the candles, they're mostly made up of string and honeycombs, and thankfully our Piglin Trading Center provides us with plenty of string. Honeycombs, I have a lot of them in my storage for some reason, so crafting the candles was no issue. Then it was time to get to work, and I decorated the enclosure with a cake and made sure to spice it up the rest of it too. And I definitely think these candles get the message across. This entire enclosure is actually pretty cozy, so I'm excited to give the Diabloceratops a new home, and I'm pretty sure that they can kinda spawn anywhere, so I just gotta get looking for him. Ooh, there's one. He's kinda giving me like a Triceratops vibe, but those eye design looking things on his head are super unique. Like the Triceratops, he's definitely aggressive, but he's smaller, so I don't think it'll be as much of an issue. Yeah, you're not too much of a problem, are you? Just gotta have him follow me a ways, and then we can introduce him to his new home. I hope he likes cake, and don't eat it all at once, Corbin. I know you want to. And as I was looking through my list of mobs, deciding what to capture next, the Kalenkin caught my eye, because that's a pretty cool name, and I have No clue what it looks like or what it does. So after a quick Google search, it looks like these guys might be found in the Badlands. So let's see if I can't find them there. Wait, I think that might be them. Oh yes, this definitely matches the image for sure. Yo, look at his head when he's walking. That's such a funny animation. He even has an animation that opens his beak. And whoa, that's a loud noise. Wait, maybe I can ride him? Oh, what? Oh, nope, not a good idea. Okay, well, unfortunately, I will have to put him down. Ooh, he dropped feathers and some sort of meat. Raw terror bird. Never seen that one before. That's a really interesting icon too. Very interesting. I found another one though, and now I just gotta put him in the enclosure and right. I still need to decorate it. A little Badlands revamp can never go wrong, and I'll even give him a campfire with his cousin's meat cooking. You never know when he might get hungry. The next mob though is definitely familiar with creatures being hungry, because given the size of him, he was probably an afternoon snack. The Stegosaurus is approximately 170 million years old and weighed as little as 9 pounds. Now, I believe we'll find them in the Dark Oak Forest, which I haven't actually visited yet in this video. Look how tiny these guys are. It's kind of hard to believe that they live alongside some of the giant mobs we've seen. And believe it or not, there are even bigger ones upcoming. He's definitely a quick little fella, but fortunately I can lead him. Let's call him Pete and get him back to the zoo. Since they're so small and live in dense forests, I'm gonna pack Pete's enclosure with lots of grass and some thick dark oak trees. This will give him plenty of places to hide and play around it. And now for the next couple of dinosaurs, I'll actually be able to ride some of them, which personally I think sounds awesome. The first one I'll be trapping is the Camarasaurus, a super tall dinosaur with a long neck. I'll find this guy in the area right outside the jungle, which is conveniently right here, so there should be one around. Whoa, this guy is really super tall, and dang, he can move quick. I also really love his colors, but the question is, can I ride him? Well, I can ride him, but I do need a saddle. Okay, let's try now. Whoa, look how many hearts he has. The view up here is so cool, and Minecraft doesn't have a mob this high up, so it's definitely a unique experience. Whoa, that's a big one. This is super cool. Now I can literally ride him through his enclosure, and I'll leave him here while I decorate. Definitely gonna need some jungle leaves and logs. I'll also grab some vines and these ground bush things, as well as some melons. I then decorated the enclosure with all these blocks, and oh, look at that, he's even sitting down. That's so cool. He's definitely super big and strong, so I think Malvise is an appropriate name. Now, this mob and every other mob I've trapped has been found in the overworld, but this is about to change with this next mob. The Stegosaurus can be found in the Nether, and more specifically in the Nether Waste biome. Whoa, I love this guy's coloring. He definitely fits into the Nether environment. Also, his spikes are super unique, and that walking animation is pretty cool as well. The main problem with the Stegosaurus is that, well, I need to get him back to the overworld, and in order to do that, I'm gonna need a bigger portal, because I don't think this one will do the trick. Thankfully, I was able to lead him through, and I made it back to the overworld, but I'll leave him here so I can decorate his enclosure first. I first headed back to the Nether to grab some more netherrack and lava, so that I can change out all the grass and give it some extra spice with the lava. I also want to add some spikes, and I don't know if they're gonna look good, but I kind of want to use dripstone. So I messed around for like 20 minutes, got a couple spikes, and I think this looks pretty cool, and hopefully he does as well. And did you know that the Stegosaurus actually has the brain size of a walnut? Compared to his massive body, his brain is severely lacking. And while unfortunately I can't ride the Stegosaurus, the next mob, the Shantungosaurus, is rideable. This is the image I found of it online, and I didn't even think that was a real dinosaur given the name. But I guess there's a lot of dinosaurs I didn't know about. Let me know if you know all the dinosaurs in this video, because that would be super impressive. The Shantungosaurus can be found in the desert biome, so to get the enclosure ready, I'm gonna change out the grass for sand and put some cacti around. I don't want to go too crazy though, because he is very large, and I want to make sure that he can definitely fit. I'll make sure to bring the saddle though this time, and let's go and find it. Oh, that's definitely it. Whoa, this thing is sick. Hey, look at how big this saddle gets. This is quite the experience, and I really like how the saddle bounces like this. It's super realistic. And with the Shantungosaurus down, we're one step closer to completing the zoo. And we'll even be one step closer once we trap the Ceratosaurus, which is the next prehistoric creature. This one is super long, measuring at over 20 feet long when it lived, and I should be able to find them in a forest area. According to my research, they lived around 150 million years ago, and they seem like they'll be aggressive, so I gotta be careful. Oh, yep, you don't seem too happy. Oh, yo, what are we doing? Chill out, my friend. Here you go, take some Diet Coke to calm down. There we go. Look at you all better. Okay, Faith, stay here while I grab some of the forest you were decimating, and I'm off to decorate your enclosure. I went with a pretty basic forest enclosure, and looking at his head, it almost looks like a skull, so I want to build a small skeleton in the area here. I grabbed some bone blocks from the nether and went with a basic small skeleton build, but I think it looks pretty cool and adds a little bit to the enclosure. Maybe he can make a little home in it. And now this looks pretty cozy, but not as cozy as the next mob's enclosure, because I want to build a full-blown cave for it. And this enclosure will be perfect, because it naturally has a little part that jets off. And the next mob will be in a wintry environment, so I need to grab some more snow and other cold materials before starting. I'll start by marking out the entrance to the cave and creating an arch, like that. Yeah, that'll look good. I'll then build a ceiling for the cave, making sure to cover parts with snow to really immerse it in the enclosure. But of course, I'm talking about immersion, and the ground hasn't even been changed yet. So I quickly changed the rest of the grass to snow, and let me add a little lake right here, frozen of course. And then I'll put a pumpkin on a singular snow block here, because yeah. Now you're probably wondering what mob is actually gonna go here, and I'm super excited for it. The woolly rhinoceros was a fearsome looking creature existing back in the Ice Age, and it's one of my favorites that I'll be collecting. Personally, I totally just think of the Ice Age movies whenever we're doing a mob like this. And we've got one right here. Is it just me, or does he look like he's grinning? Either way, I love the look of him, and that's one serious horn. I've heard they have a cool charging animation, and I want to see what they drop, so I'll make sure to set my spawn and have plenty of totems, just in case. Whoa, he hits like a truck. He definitely is mad. And yes, let's see what we got. Ooh, jumbo hide. I believe I got that from the woolly mammoth as well. Along with that, I got raw rhinoceros meat, which is pretty cool, but I've got no idea what I'm gonna do with it. Don't worry though, I found another one just right around the corner, and with the power of editing, he's now in his enclosure. And we'll name you Scrat after the squirrel from Ice Age. And to keep on the theme of the beautiful movies that are the Ice Age movies, next up is the Glyptodon. And if you don't recognize the name, don't worry. I didn't either. What I'm referring to are these little guys who appear multiple times throughout the film. I believe one of their names is Stu, so let's get his enclosure prepared as I tell you more. Glyptodons were armadillo-type creatures that had large protective shells like turtles. They also had clubs on their tails for protection. Glyptodons, like turtles, could retract into their shells when danger came along, and apparently they liked living near bodies of water, so I gave them a little stream that goes through the enclosure, as well as this little hut thingy for some shade. I realize now that they can just go in their shells for shade, but it's the thought that counts. I guess I'll just have to follow the river until I find Stu. Stu, where are you? Oh, hi Stu. And let's see if I hit Stu. Yes, look, he hides in his shell. That's super cool. And I can even lead him, which is awesome and makes life easy. Welcome home, buddy. Let's officially name you, and I hope you thrive and don't get eaten like you did in Ice Age. Anyway, it's been a bit since I've actually done a water creature, with the saber-toothed salmon being the only one so far. I do have an actual fish I want to capture, but before I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna be tackling a hybrid land and water creature, the alligator gar. What's so special about this creature is that it is still living, and it has been for the past 100 million years. Well, not the same one, but the same species. And I'm fairly certain we should be able to spot one in the swampy biome here. Ooh, I think that's one right there. He's more fish-like than I expected, compared to many alligators of today. And a fun fact about this species is even though they've existed for 100 million years, they've remained fairly unchanged for that entire time. I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I am curious to see what they drop though, because I know regular alligators are sometimes hunted for their meat, and I wonder if they would be too. Ooh, it does drop a meat. Alligator gar. Interesting. Oh, well, okay, don't eat it. It's a bit poisonous. I mean, I guess it is raw meat, but I don't know. Don't worry though, I found another one, and he seemed to like the water, so I made his enclosure mostly a swampy habitat, and I think it's pretty vibey in here. I hope you enjoy your stay, Reggie. Now, earlier I mentioned that there was another mob that is fully aquatic, and that is the sturgeon fish. Like the alligator, they are living fossils, and have existed for over 120 million years, living in the Cretaceous period, which is just after the Triassic and Jurassic period. That part's for the history buffs out there. there. Unfortunately, most sturgeon species now are endangered and threatening extinction, but they are certainly a cool looking fish. I love that the Minecraft model has different parts that move back and forth when it swims. It makes it super realistic, and I would definitely support Mojang if they decided to add something like this. The sturgeons find their food on the ocean floor, and from what I'm seeing, they like to hang out there, so I want to replicate that environment in this enclosure. I started by replacing the floor with sand and filling it all up with water, and now I've got a good base to work with. I think the main issue is it's missing a bit of color, and coral is the perfect way to fix that. If I head to the nether and head a bit this ways, I've got a massive coral reef that has all the coral I could ever need. Just gotta harvest some, and I'll grab a little extra for a future project. Now I just need to place it in random places, and this is already looking better. I'll put down a couple of rocks and give it a little life with some bone meal. But, he looks lonely. I've got an idea. Perfect. A couple of smaller friends. I hope he doesn't eat them. I don't think sturgeon do. Unfortunately, Stu the sturgeon is a great name, but that's already taken by our little friend over here. Sam the sturgeon works well enough. I think this next mob will be the tallest creature I'll be capturing, as the Brachiosaurus could reach over 60 feet tall. This beast is one of the more well-known dinosaurs and could consume up to 900 pounds of foliage daily. That's a lot of salad. Way too much for me. He definitely lives up to the hype. Get it? Hype. No. Okay. He is super tall though, and I totally feel like I'm gonna get squished. Unfortunately, I can't ride him. That would be awesome. But what I'm going to do is build him a ridiculously tall tree in his enclosure so that he can eat. Now, I could just do the simple thing and plant a jungle tree because they are already very tall, but I'm thinking a super tall oak tree sounds like the perfect fit. I've got plenty of logs in my storage, which I just gotta stack them up. And yeah, that kind of looks stupid, but trust, I just gotta add some leaves and it'll all come together, which I forgot to go get. Let's try that again. Just gotta place all the leaves now, and that's, certainly something. I was able to transport the Brachiosaurus using the same lead mod as I used last video, as he's not rideable, leadable, and doesn't really chase. I'll name him Melman after the giraffe from Madagascar because, well, they both have really long necks. So, essentially the same. And just like there's a lion in Madagascar, the next dinosaur kinda reminds me of a lion. Well, more of a tiger, but you know, basically the same thing. The Metracanthosaurus is next up, and that is a mouthful. To be honest, I had to practice that a couple times. The Metracanthosaurus was an absolute unit, coming in at 26 feet long and weighing 2,000 pounds. And despite its size, it could still run pretty fast, up to 25 miles per hour. And in comparison, the fastest recorded top running speed by a human is 27 miles an hour. So these guys could move pretty well. You can see what I mean though, that coloring and stripe pattern does kind of look tigerish. He is aggressive though, so I think the best course of action is to hit him and just bait him into following me. Now with their speed, I'm thinking a racetrack could be cool for the enclosure. I just gotta craft up some concrete and solidify it. I love the fact that I'm struggling to find an enclosure because it means we're closing in on the end, and along with that, trapping the Tyrannosaurus Rex. But I think this enclosure will be perfect for a racetrack as it's a bit longer than the other ones. I started out by flattening it and then quickly built up the racetrack. And honestly, I'm thinking the rest of it would look good with some red sand and cacti, also because that would mix really well with his colors. I can steal the red sand from the desert, and I've got a ton of cactus in my farm here. After a quick replacement, this enclosure is looking pretty sweet, and I think he enjoys it. I'll name him Alex after the lion in Madagascar, even though, yeah, I know it's not a great correlation, but I make the rules here. Speaking of making the rules, we're going back to the aquatic creatures because I accidentally forgot the Patagonian toothfish. And honestly, I hate to say it, but like, he's pretty forgettable. Look at him. They are pretty unique though because they can survive extreme depths of up to 12,000 feet underwater. Unfortunately, I can't dig this 12,000 blocks deep, so he's gonna have to settle for a normal tank. I can cover the top with tinted glass though to replicate how dark it would have been. All I need are these amethyst shards and some glass. I can then craft it up and place it on top of the enclosure. There you go, Bryce. Enjoy the darkness. The next mob though definitely doesn't like the darkness, and it's actually a type of deer. The Megalosaurus is an extinct deer species, famous for its massive antlers. And these things are no joke. Look at the size of them. It's just about as big as his, well, wait. They're bigger than his body. What? And nope, he does not like to be ridden. Yo, chill. All right, you're getting it. Ooh, raw Megalosaurus venison. That is a very red lead. For the enclosure, I want to attempt to build antlers in it. I say attempt because, well, that seems fairly difficult. I prepared the enclosure as per usual and left a clearing for the antlers. I, once again, grabbed some bone blocks from the nether, and now I've got a challenge ahead of me. Turns out antlers are, in fact, difficult to build, and I mean, I think you're able to tell they're antlers. I still have to find another Megalosaurus, though. No worries, though, they like to chill around the forests, and I can just yoink. There we go. And while those antlers are big, the next 3 creatures are super small. So small that all 3 are gonna be in the same enclosure. The first of these 3 is the worm. Super exciting, I know. But at least the other 2, I think, are a bit more interesting. The worm can be found just around bodies of water, and ooh, I see some pink. So, yeah, that's basically it. They drop worm. That is a very S-shaped worm. Wow. I found another one, and let's set up the enclosure now. I'm thinking a muddy enclosure will fit these mobs well, and I've got some mud in my storage. I'll also grab some cobblestone and stone to make a small lake, and I'll get some leaves for decoration. I quickly replaced all of the ground with mud, and I think around here is a good spot for the lake. Just place some leaves around the edges, and I'll even plant a tree in the center here. The worm can enjoy his new home while we find his 2 roommates, which, funnily enough, are both snails. The pond snail is up first. We'll find him around, you guessed it, a pond. And honestly, there's nothing a whole lot special about them. They only live around 4 years, but I mean, they can lay 300 eggs at once, which is pretty cool. He kind of just slimes around, and yeah, we'll grab you. And the regular snail is up next, and he's a little bit more interesting. This is because when I get close to him, he pops in his shell. He's also got really cool looking eyes, and he reminds me a lot of Gary from SpongeBob. And now that we've got Gary and company in the enclosure, we are that much closer to finishing this project, and we're actually on the final handful of prehistoric mobs. And now we get to trap the largest terrestrial mammal ever, the Paraceratherium. This guy certainly lives up to it. He is huge. Is it just me, or does he have a really goofy looking face? Anyway, he drops a ton of Paraceratherium meat, and like the Megalosaurus, the meat is pretty red. For his enclosure, I want to replicate the dry environment that he would have lived in, and I think if I use a shovel to turn all the grass into path blocks, we can achieve that. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool. I'll add a couple dirt blocks so that I can grow trees, as well as a pile of hay, because maybe he eats it. Welcome to your new enclosure, Sean. Remember how not long ago I trapped the mobs from Ice Age? Well, it's a bit of a stretch, but this next mob, the Struthiomimus, kinda reminds me of the bird from Rio. I'm not really sure why. He doesn't look like it, but the colors are there maybe? I don't know, I can't remember the last time I watched Rio either, so... yeah, I love how he just hops around. He genuinely just looks happy to be here. A fun fact about this creature is that it's actually toothless and mainly relied on its speed for defense. It was an omnivore, meaning it ate plants, and I want to deck out this enclosure with plenty of plants. I'll replicate the jungle vibe with plenty of trees, vines, and bushes. I'll chuck a couple melons in here because why not? I'll name him Rio after Rio, at least I think that's the bird's name. Maybe not, but either way, I think the vibe fits him. And jumping right into the next enclosure, I transformed it into a podzol base, and you'll see why in a second. I want to aim to replicate the taiga forest, so I need some mossy cobblestone for those rock structures that spawn around. Pretty sure all I need are some vines to combine with regular cobblestone to make it, so I grabbed some more from my swamp. I really need to make a vine farm because I feel like I'm always coming up here to get vines. That's a later me problem though, and I was able to craft up all the mossy cobblestone and finish decorating the enclosure. Now you're probably wondering what creature this enclosure is actually for, and it's for the Gastronus. And this is the reason I chose the podzol enclosure. Like, look at him, he's gonna match so well. This massive bird lived over 55 million years ago, and despite being a bird, he can't actually fly. How unfortunate. Well, hopefully this awesome enclosure can keep him happy, and I'll name him Skipper after the penguin from Madagascar. And the final mob before we get to the T-Rex is the Therizinosaurus, which Google describes as a bizarre, pot-bellied, feathered theropod. Interesting. Now you may be wondering how this is the last one, as we've still got 2 enclosures here. I want to take down this wall to give our friend a nice big enclosure. So there we go. Now I want to transform this entire enclosure into an ice biome, and specifically blue ice, because I think that'll match his Minecraft model pretty well. Blue ice is crafted from 9 packed ice, and so if I need a couple stacks of blue ice to do this, that means I need at least a shulker or 2 of regular packed ice. Well, I suppose there could be less enjoyable things to do right now. Just your average Tuesday morning, I suppose. After getting a sufficient amount of ice, I crafted it all up, then transformed the enclosure. I also built the spike things to spice it up a bit and give our friend something to look at. All I need to do now is head back to the snowy biome, and there he is. I think his colors are super cool, and they will pair well with this blue ice. Mr. Wright will have a brand new home, and now I can move on to the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now you may be wondering why there are 3 enclosures, and no, I'm not collecting 3. I made the executive decision to combine all 3 of these enclosures to make one giant enclosure for him. So first, I got rid of all the dividers and then flattened out the whole area. And the T-Rex, it just gives me the vibes of volcano in like muddy, darker enclosures, but unfortunately there just simply isn't enough space for a volcano. So instead, I think I'm gonna use mud and muddy mangrove roots to give the appearance of a super dirty and gloomy looking enclosure. I've got a mud converter right here, and after a couple minutes of AFK, I've got all the mud I could need. I just need to stop by the mangrove biome now and harvest a bunch of these mangrove roots to convert some of the mud into muddy mangrove roots. I said mangrove way too many times in that sentence. Now that I have all the materials, I can transform the enclosure. And now that that's done, the hunt for the Tyrannosaurus Rex begins. Now, I do have to be really careful because these T-Rexes are extremely dangerous, and they'll want to kill me on sight. Thankfully, I've got a plan. This mob capturing tool that I have here will allow me to capture the T-Rex with just one click. So that means all I have to do is just get close enough to click him. And I believe they spawn in plains biomes, and there should be a big one over this way. Ah, here we go. Now we just gotta keep our eyes peeled, but I don't think this guy will be very difficult to spot. Somewhere around here looks like prime real estate for him. Oh, there he is. Now, hopefully he doesn't see me. He definitely sees me. No. Okay, so I somehow have to get close enough to him without him biting me because my lack of armor, well, I might be one shot. Maybe if I hide on top of this tree. Oh, he can knock it over. Oh, okay. Trees are not safe. What about over this lake? Will he fall into it? Nope. Okay, I'm thinking if I fly up high and then I plummet onto him. I've got a totem in my offhand now, so let's go for it. I've got my mob capturing tool, and here goes nothing. Oh, that actually worked. I've got the Tyrannosaurus Rex in my mob capturing tool, and we survived. Now I just have to hope he doesn't break the zoo. And here we are. Time for the final mob to be put in the zoo. This has been quite the adventure. So here you go. Let's get out of here. And look at that. He's got a brand new home. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. He's not happy. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.